Sairam students, I welcome all of you once again to the seventh part of lesson number 11, Work and Energy. So let's recall once again whatever so far we have learnt in this chapter. So students, in the last lecture, if you remember, we spoke about the different type of the resources from which we get the energy. So those two different type of the resources from which we get the energy, that has been classified into two parts. So as you can see that over here, the first type, it is called as conventional energy source, and it is also called as non-renewable energy resource. That means these sources of the energy which are limited and they cannot be created again and again. And the second type of the resource, it is that non-conventional energy resource, which is also called as renewable energy resource. That means if it is exhausted, we can create it again and again, right? So students, let me tell you that what do you exactly mean by the conventional source of the energy. So the energy resources which man has been using for the centuries, that means we are using those type of the energy since our ancient time. So those type of the energy, they are called as what? Conventional energy resources, and once if they are exhausted, they cannot be created again and again. In, like for example, petrol, diesel and the coal, etc. are the example of what? Conventional energy resources. After that, what do you exactly mean by the non-conventional energy? As you can see that over here, the resources which not have been used traditionally, but they are inexhausted, they are continuous, and they can be used in various form again and again. Means they cannot be finished very off easily, but we can create them again and again by our activity. So this type of the energy, it is called as what? Non-conventional energy, and which can be created again and again. So now you must be thinking, what are those sources of the energy which we can create again and again? So there are so many type of the energy which we get from the nature, and we can create it again and again. So like for example, as you can see that there are so many types of the renewable energy resources, and about them only we are going to learn now one by one. So let's have a look at that renewable energy resources. So first, as you can see that over here, solar energy. The second, you can see here, wind energy. The third, you can see that over here, tidal energy. Then next, you can see here, hydroelectric or tidal power energy. Then energy obtained from the oceanic waves. And the last but not least over here, atomic energy. So these are the 6 different forms of the energy which can be created again and again, and they are inexhaustible, means they cannot finish off very easily, right? And they are available in the nature in the larger amount, and we can use it continuously as well, right? So we have the alternative of the solar energy as well. Now what do you mean by the solar energy, students? Solar energy means whatever energy we get from the sunlight. So whatever energy we get from the sunlight, it is in the continuous manner. So the solar energy is the root of all the energy which is available right now on the earth, right? So you can see that the solar panel here. Can you see the solar panel over here? So what this machine does? This solar panel absorbs the light energy, and then it converts into the electrical energy, and then we can use the electricity at our place as well. Are you getting my point? So you know that there are a variety of the devices which have been developed for making use the solar energy. Like for example, you must have heard about the solar cooker, in which we can cook the food material. Then the solar water heater, where we can heat the water. Then the solar dryer, and again the solar cell. So these are the different devices which uses the solar energy in the larger amount. So can you see that the solar cooker is utilized to cook the food material. The water heater is utilized to heat the water. The solar dryer, it is used to dry the grain. So if we have to store the grain for longer time, then we have to dry them completely, right? So you can see that the solar dryer, it is a type of device which is usually used to dry the grain. So you can see that here the solar cooker is used to cook the food, the water heater it is used to heat the water, and the solar dryer it is used to dry the grain. And in all the above mentioned devices the solar energy has been used, and this solar energy uses the sunlight. Understood? Now you understood the importance of the solar energy, and now you understood the importance of the sunlight which we get usually. So students, in solar cell, electrical energy can be obtained from the solar energy. Solar electric plants have the capacity to produce the electricity on the larger scale. So that's why the solar electric plants are very important to generate the electricity on the larger scale. And do you know that the solar plant consists of many solar cells just to trap the solar energy as much as it can and to convert all the solar energy into the electrical energy. Understood? And the next type of the renewable source of the energy is the wind energy. Now what do you mean by the wind energy? You must have know about the wind, right? So the electricity which is generated by the means of the windmills. You must have seen the windmill, right? So these windmills usually use the strong wind, and the windmill is also used to draw the water from the well. So let me tell you that how exactly the windmill looks like. So this is how the windmill looks like. So if the strong winds come, these windmills will rotate and rotate and rotate. Because of the rotation of the windmill, the electricity will be generated. So this is how the electricity is generated by means of windmills using the strong wind. And even the windmill is used to draw the water from the wells. For drawing the water from the well, even in this case also, the windmills are used in the larger scale, right? One more type of the energy, student, that is called as what? Tidal energy. Now what do you mean by tidal energy? So in case of the tidal energy, the water waves has been used to generate the electricity. A wall is constructed at a narrow region of a creek. Due to the waves generated by high and low tides, the turbine of the generator fitted in the walls starts rotating and the electricity has been generated. Now you must be thinking that how exactly the turbine are situated underground and how exactly those turbines are rotated. So have a look at this image. Can you see here? So underwater, these are the turbines which are situated. So when the low or high tides come, because of the waves of the water, these turbines are rotated at the higher speed. So because of the tides or because of the high or low tide, these turbines are rotated at the higher speed. So when they rotate at the higher speed, they generate the electricity. So this is how exactly the electricity has been generated by using the tidal energy. So now you understood how exactly the energy has been or electricity has been produced with the help of the tidal energy. And at the same time, the one more type of the electric energy, it is called as what? Hydroelectric or hydel power. So now what do you mean by the hydral power or hydroelectric power? The water stored in a dam at a height is brought down through a tunnel and the turbines of the generator are rotated. Means what? Purposefully at the high, the water has been stored in the dam and then that water is allowed to fall down, and at bottom the turbines are situated. So as the water falls, the turbine will get rotated at the higher speed. So when the turbine will rotate at the higher speed, automatically the electricity will be generated. So as you can see that over here, the place where the electricity is generated in this way, it is called as hydroelectric or hydel power plant. So the place where it has been generated, that place is called as what? Hydroelectric or hydel power plant. So can you see that? This is the dam. So at the height the water has been stored and the water then it is allowed to fall down, and at the bottom here the turbines are situated. So when the water falls down, the turbines will get rotated at the higher speed and because of that the electricity will be generated. Understood? Now you must have understood regarding the hydroelectric power plant. Now students, the next type of the energy is from the oceanic waves. Now you all know that in ocean also a large amount of the waves we can see. So while sea waves move forward in certain direction, the water moves up and down regularly at a position So this too can be used to generate the electricity. So even the oceanic waves are used to generate the electricity. So you must have seen that how exactly the oceanic waves are come. So these oceanic waves are used to generate the electricity. So this type of the electricity, it is called as what? Energy obtained from the oceanic waves. One more type of the electricity which we have generated, that is atomic energy. So you all know that the serious crisis of the electricity shortage can be eased by generating electricity by means of the atomic energy only. So whatever the electricity shortage we have right now, or the load shedding we have right now because of the electricity shortage, that can be easily reduced by using the atomic energy, where we can use the heavy elements to create the electricity. So this is how exactly the atomic energy plant looks like. So here in this plant, the electricity has been produced by using the atomic energy, which is one of the alternative source. So if we start to use this type of the electricity, then the load shedding problem might get reduced in the future as well, right? So students, let me tell you that over here, energy saving and green energy, that means always remember that it is better to save the energy rather than creating it again and again. So whatever energy we have right now, we have to use it properly. We don't have to use it extensively. Whenever it is needed, that time only we have to use all the type of the energy, be it electrical energy also. So let me tell you that here, in way of saving energy is as good as the generating the energy. There are several ways of the saving energy, such as you can follow this at your home also. Putting off lamp when not needed at home also. If it is daytime and the outside light is coming in your from balcony or your door also, then it is fine. You don't need to on your light also. Making maximum use of the sunlight, etc. Saving energy and the energy resources is very necessary. So even if you don't need the fan, switch off the fan, let the wind come in your home, right? And at the same time, use the if whenever it is not required, you can switch off your fan also, right? And whatever water you require for drinking, take that much only water in a glass. Don't use excessive amount of the water. Otherwise we will have to face a serious calamity like the global warming. So if the global warming creates, we all will suffer from that. So the energy resource which we do not produce, smoke, carbon gases, such a carbon dioxide and the monoxide, they are called as what? Green energy resources. Who are called as the green energy resources? Carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. They are called as what? Green energy resources. Greater use of such resources is the need of the hour. Are you getting my point over here? So always remember that we have to use that amount of the resources which can create the less pollution, not the more pollution. So students, what we have learned today? We have learned about the renewable energy resources which we can use in our daily basis. First is the solar energy, wind energy, tidal energy, hydroelectric or tidal power, electric energy which is obtained from the oceanic waves, and the atomic energy. These are the different type of the renewable energy resources which we can deal on the daily basis. So students, here we have completed our lesson number 11, work and the energy. So let's recall once again what we have learnt in this chapter. So student, in this chapter we have learnt about what do you exactly mean by the work. Work is done when an object undergoes a displacement on the application of the force. So that means when we apply the force and that object changes its position, then we say that the work has been done. The energy is the capacity to do the work. What do you mean by the energy? The capacity to do the work is called as what? Energy. The various forms of energy are mechanical energy, heat energy, light energy, sound energy, chemical energy, and the electrical energy. So these are the different forms of the energy. Some things that can be used to obtain the energy is called as what? Energy resources. And again you all know that the energy resources are also divided into two types, that is conventional resources and non-conventional resources. Non-conventional resources are also called as renewable energy resources, and the conventional resources are also called as what? Non-renewable. So I hope so students, whatever we have learnt in this chapter, you must have understood that. Okay. So here we have completed the lesson number 11, work and energy. So we will stop here. We will see you in the next session. Bye bye. Take care.